Okay, we're gonna play American Truck Simulator again for a little while. First, I'm gonna select the job, obviously. I'm gonna try to choose a trailer that I'm familiar with operating. However, the game doesn't really tell me what type of trailer I'm going to be pulling when I click on it, just what I'm carrying. Or if it does tell you that, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Interesting fact, before I went to truck driving school, I was actually in college. I was majoring in physics and I was going to be a astrophysicist, or at least that's what I was studying to become. However, I chose to leave college and start truck driving, mainly because I was interested in the industry. I've always been at least slightly interested in the idea of driving a truck, and there just happened to be a truck driving school about 30 minutes away from where I live, so I thought I'd give it a try. However, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I decided to take that job, and it ended up being less than what I expected. The main thing that drew me into the industry was I thought I'd be making a lot of money. It was my understanding at the time that truck drivers make a lot of money, but it turns out you never make the amount of money the company says you're going to make. Literally every single truck driving company in the United States will promise you that you will make at least $1,200 a week, but that is never true. So whenever a company says, oh, you'll make $1,200 a week, or you'll make $2,200 a week if you accept this job, they're just lying. That is absolutely not true. I have never had a paycheck that was $1,200. So I'm living proof that that is a complete lie. Really, astrophysicists make more money than truck drivers, so I really should have stuck with what I was doing in the first place. Really, if I could go back in time and warn myself, I would say, dude, truck drivers don't make as much money as you think they're going to make. You might as well just stay where you are. And a lot of things don't make sense about the trucking industry, in my opinion. And really, the main thing I don't like is that all it takes for you to get in trouble is for someone to say you did something. Like, it doesn't matter if you actually did something wrong. All it takes is one person saying that they saw you do something wrong, and the company will just accept that, and they will believe any single person over you. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if there's like a random person on the street that says they saw you hit a parked car. If you didn't hit, it doesn't matter if you didn't hit the parked car or not. The company is just like, oh, well, someone said you hit a parked car, so you definitely hit a parked car. Therefore, so yeah, basically, the company will believe anybody over the driver. They just don't want to believe what the driver has to say. I once brought a trailer back that had a dent in it. It had a dent when I picked it up. The last person who drove it put a dent in it. But for some reason, I don't know how that guy managed to bring the trailer back without getting in trouble. But for some reason, only when I bring the trailer back, I get in trouble for it. I told them I did not dent the trailer, but they said, "Oh, someone said you dented the trailer, so it must be true because someone else said it." So yeah, I end up getting in trouble for that anyway. But somehow the guy who actually dented the trailer got off scot-free. By the way, I just realized I'm using the wrong footage. I used footage from a previous load I delivered. So yeah, I ended up using new footage. Right now what you see me doing is changing the controls a little bit, because for some reason it's really difficult for me to turn on the turn signals in this game the way it is on the keyboard. So I'm changing it so that one of the buttons on my gaming mouse will cause that to happen instead, because that'll be easier. Ah, yogurt, what could possibly go wrong? I really hope this isn't a double trailer. I really don't like those. Oh no, it's a double trailer. Oh well, it's just a game. What could possibly go wrong in a game? However, in real life, if a company just slapped a double trailer on me and said, you're going to have to carry this, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not. I don't have any training on driving double trailers. I'm licensed to drive them in real life, but I have had no on-the-job training on them. And you would understand my reasoning better if you've watched the TV show called Build It Bigger. In the introduction to that show, the narrator basically says that he learned a lot in engineering school, but there's some things you just can't learn from a book. I mean, I read the driver's license manual about how to drive a double trailer, and I passed the test, and I have the doubles and triples endorsement on my CDL, but I have had no on-the-job training. So, yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is I would need actual training on the job before I could actually accept driving a double trailer. And if a company told me that I would have to drive one without any training, then I would refuse for the obvious reason that I prefer to err on the side of safety. For some reason, it seems like companies don't care about safety. Like I'll tell them to err on the side of safety. I'd rather this be done, but they don't really care. In fact, in reality, if I told a company that I couldn't accept that load because I didn't have any training on it, they'd probably fire me. But, you know, I'd rather be fired for erring on the side of safety than being fired for trying to do something I didn't think I had enough training to do, and then it resulting in a terrible accident. One of those is easier to explain to a potential employer. Now, in the driver's license manual, it says you should never back up with double trailers. Later in this video, I'm going to show you why. Man, it is really dark out right now. In case you're wondering why I didn't look left and right before crossing, I accidentally assigned the buttons for looking left and right to the shift keys without realizing. I fixed that later in the video though. So in the future I will be looking both ways at each stop sign. One important thing you should be aware of when driving a truck: never take a hasty exit. Don't be like, oh my goodness, that's my exit, and then just rush towards that exit, because that can be very dangerous. And a lot of times it leads to trucks overturning, that is, falling toward the outside of the curve because they went too fast on the exit. So if you can't slow down to the speed of the exit ramp before getting off the highway, you should just skip that one, take the next exit, and then turn around. It takes a lot longer, but you'll get there safely. Better late than never than early and not in one piece. Of course, if you're not in one piece, you won't get there early anyway. So you'll basically just be wasting time. Okay, we're about to approach an exit with a very sharp curve. This exit has an advisory speed limit that it recommends you travel at while going around this curve. Now, when I was in truck driving school, my trainers told me that when you see a sign telling you how fast to take the turn, you should slow down to 10 miles per hour below that speed. For example, right now that says 35 miles per hour. You should take that curve at 25. The reason being If you're 10 miles per hour under the speed limit, there's a less chance of you overturning while taking that curve. If you take the curve at the speed limit, you might be safe, but there's more of a chance. Like it's more obvious that you're going to make it down that ramp safely if you slow down. Now, I've noticed that these double trailers tend to take a wider turn than I think they're going to make. So, maybe I should start turning a little bit sharper than this. Okay, we're approaching another relatively sharp on-ramp with a short merge lane. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because another very interesting thing about the trucking industry, and something I hate about it, is that no one can really agree on the proper way to operate the truck. Every single person that has ever trained me has told me something slightly different. For example, some of my trainers told me that if there's cars on the lane that you're about to merge onto, you're supposed to stop at the end of the ramp and put your turn signal on, wait until there's enough space for you to get onto the highway safely, and then get on. However, some of my other trainers told me that when you're approaching a highway and merging onto the lane, just put your turn signal on and hit the accelerator. They'll get out of the way if they don't want to get hit. Now, me personally, I'm not entirely sure which one of those is correct. However, I'm pretty sure it's the first, because I can't imagine a world where the latter would make more sense. It is really hard to see behind me on these double trailers. All I can really see is the first trailer and some of the second one. When are they going to start putting cameras in trucks that actually videotape the side of the trailer and then show you on screen what's happening next to you so you can more easily see what's going on? I mean, seriously, the technology exists. Why don't they implement it? I mean, with one trailer, I can see behind me pretty easily. Well, I can see next to me pretty easily. Behind you, you can only see as far up as 2 car lengths. Beyond that, you can't see behind yourself. But with these double trailers, I can barely see at all. Okay, you're about to find out why you should never drive a truck with a mouse. Yeah, thank goodness in real life when you're driving a truck you're using an actual steering wheel and not a mouse. I mean, I could solve this problem by buying a steering wheel controller that I can plug into the computer. The problem is those things cost a lot of money, and mouses, I forget what the plural is when it's a computer. Anyway, a computer mouse is a lot cheaper. So basically, the mouse was hitting something when I was trying to turn the steering wheel. I tried repositioning the mouse, and it caused this to happen. So now I'm going to have to call roadside assistance. Now, in real life, if this happens to you, you're probably going to be fired. Companies do not like it when you tip over their trucks, you know. They specifically don't like it when you damage anything, because that costs them money. And since in this game I'm currently being employed by someone, the employer would have to pay for this. Now, the company I work for, they really don't like it when you... I mean, the company I used to work for, they did not like it at all when you tipped over their truck. They would put pictures of your truck and trailer, well, or rather the remains of the truck and trailer, every terminal you went to, and there'd be these pictures all over the place being like, don't be like this person. Don't do what this guy did. So yeah, it's a real embarrassment if your truck tips over. At least if you're employed by that company. They will photograph this trailer and they will tell people, yeah, don't do what this guy did. Okay, in this section of the video, you will find out why you cannot modify trucks that belong to a company that you are employed by. Okay, let's see what kind of modifications I can afford to buy. Ooh, let's get a 10-speed transmission, because I hate this 18-speed. I don't know how to drive it at all. I'm only licensed to drive trucks with 10-speed transmissions. I have no training on 18-speed, and it keeps throwing me off because this truck keeps shifting at different speeds than what I'm used to shifting at. So yeah, let's see if I can install a 10-speed transmission on it. And that's more up my alley. The company won't like it if you modify their equipment. You know, I want to know what would happen in real life if you actually modify the truck without the company's permission. Like, what are they going to do? You already installed it. They're probably going to make you drive back to the place where you had it installed and make you have it uninstalled and put back the way it was. And you're probably going to have to pay for that. They're probably not going to cover that since they already told you not to modify it. Let's see if it'll let me add some additional lights to the truck. Nope, the company won't like you modifying their equipment. Now, there's actually a reason why they won't let you put additional lights on the truck. Companies want to put the bare minimum of lights that the government requires you to have, because when even one light isn't working, the truck is basically considered broken down, and you have to stop until you can get the light repaired, which costs time and money. Obviously, the more lights you add, the higher the tendency for one of them to go out, leaving you broken down. So they don't want you adding a bunch of lights to the truck because it's going to cost more to run them. Now, me personally, I think the government should only require the lights that are required by law to be functioning. Any additional ones I don't think should be required to be functional. Because it's not like they were going to require you to have them in the first place. But you know, the government makes very little sense when it comes to the trucking industry anyway, so why would they consider making sense now? Well, let's continue our journey. I was never a fan of police officers when I was a truck driver. However, personally, I've never had a bad experience with them. I've just heard lots of bad stories about them. For example, one truck driver told me that he once, looks like the driver's getting tired. Better look for somewhere to go to sleep. Anyway, getting back to the story, one truck driver told me of a time where he was missing a mud flap. The company sent him a message to go to the nearest truck stop to get it repaired. So he was on his way there. A cop pulled him over because he was missing a mud flap and gave him a ticket for it, even after he showed him proof that he was headed somewhere to get it repaired. But you know, police officers don't care about that stuff. All they care about is giving you a ticket for some reason. So yeah, that's another reason I don't like truck driving. In fact, I'm not even really sure if I want to get back into the industry. It's been 2 years since the last time I've driven a truck. I didn't really necessarily enjoy it the first time. I've been applying at a bunch of different companies for the last 2 years, But they keep telling me the same thing, and look at that, a car just drove right into the side of the trailer. The sad thing is, cars would do that in real life because their drivers are such idiots. But it's still going to be your fault that you hit them for some reason, because, you know, reasons. So yeah, I'm not really interested in getting back into the trucking industry. You know, in an older version of this game that I used to play when I was a kid, if you didn't pull over to get rest early enough, the driver would actually literally go to sleep, and the screen would literally fade to black, and you wouldn't be able to see where you were going. Which obviously can happen in real life. Drivers can doze off if they don't get enough rest. But, man, that was terrifying the first time that happened to me. Now, when I was a kid, obviously I didn't really understand the whole hours of service regulations and whatnot. It wasn't until I went to truck driving school that I had a full understanding of that. So I didn't realize when I had to pull over for this character to rest. Okay, I'm going to pull into this rest area right here to get some sleep. Okay, this angle is not perfect because it leaves me in a situation where I have to back up to get out. Now, in the driver's license manual, when parking a truck that has double trailers, it actually specifically tells you to make sure you're in a situation where you can pull straight through the parking space and pull forward to get out, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to back up. You could get into a lot of trouble. I think I might have accidentally turned the jukebox on or something. I'm not quite sure how to turn it off though, so I guess I'm going to be listening to music the rest of the way. Anyway, it's time to get moving again, and I have a slight problem though. There isn't quite enough room for me to pull forward to get out. Now, I did this, you can see with your own eyes, why it's not a good idea to be in a situation where you would have to back up with double trailers. In real life, obviously, I know you're not supposed to do this to yourself. Now, right now I'm trying to back up, but there's a slight problem. When you're pulling double trailers, you're pulling three separate things that can pivot when you turn. You're pulling the first trailer, a converter dolly that connects the first trailer to the second trailer, and of course the second trailer. That means that when backing up, if I turn the steering wheel to the right, the front trailer is going to go left, the converter dolly is going to go right, and the rear trailer is going to go left. The converter dolly will keep turning until the first trailer hits the second trailer. So you're basically in a pretty bad situation because it's really difficult to control the converter dolly and the other trailers at the same time. Another issue is I'm trying to back up into a street, and cars tend to not understand when trucks are trying to back up into a street because their drivers are such idiots. It doesn't matter if you blow your horn, you have your four ways on, and if trailers had reversing lights like cars did, it wouldn't matter if those were on either. They'd be like, what is this truck trying to do? Oh well, I guess I'll just keep driving. It doesn't look like he's trying to back up or anything. So yeah, that's another issue too, when trying to back up. Now, backing up with double trailers isn't necessarily impossible, it's just difficult. One of my trainers said he knows someone who can back up 3 trailers at a time when they're attached together. So it is fully possible, just you need to have a lot of skill to be able to do that. Yeah, one of the trailers hit the other one because of the converter dolly's angle of turning. So, the thing is, if I want to turn the rear trailer to the right, well, towards my right, the passenger side, I'd have to turn the converter dolly to the left and the front trailer to the right. which means I'd have to turn left. Theoretically, however, it doesn't seem to be working too well in practice. The main issue is the converter dolly won't go exactly where I need it to go to steer the other trailer in the correct direction. It's kind of at the same angle, but I can't keep it at this angle because the converter dolly is basically at a 90-degree angle right now. So yeah, this isn't working too well. Yeah, the trailers hit each other again. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. Okay, so right now it's turning the right direction. Yeah, it's not working. You know what? They should figure out how to design more efficient couplers on double trailers so you can reverse with them. Or maybe create an automatic converter dolly that can turn itself in a direction that you specifically want it to go. Like you can somehow tell it where you want the rear trailer to go, and it can reposition itself and turn the rear trailer that way. But anyway, luckily I did leave myself enough room to pull out going forward. That was just as a demonstration so you'd understand why you should never back up with double trailers. Anyway, be very careful when turning with these things. You need really wide turns. Okay, we're almost at our destination. Just gotta make another left turn, and then another right turn. Theoretically, and that's assuming everything goes well. Well, I'm not sure if I can make that turn from over here. Well, I'd at least need a very wide approach, even using the left lane. Yeah, this probably isn't going to work. In reality, it would probably be a better idea to make a U-turn and start from the other side of the road. Because left turns seem to be more wide than right turns on trucks. Yeah, I can't turn hard enough to get it in there, so I'm going to have to start over. I'm going to have to turn around and start from the other side of the road. You know, I'm surprised these cars actually know to stop this far back, because usually car drivers pull up to like a few inches beside you, and then they get so confused when you tell them to move away. Now, recruiters lie, so don't believe anything they ever say. For example, the recruiter for the last company I worked for told me I'd be making $1,200 a week. That was a lie. They told me I'd be home every weekend. That was also a lie. In fact, I don't think there was a single true thing that has ever come out of a recruiter's mouth. Okay, so in real life, you should not make a U-turn like this. In real life, if you run over a bush, it can damage something on the undercarriage of your vehicle. But in this game, the bushes don't appear to be solid, at least not these ones. So in the game, I can do it. But in real life, you should never make a U-turn off-road. You should always find a really wide parking lot in order to make a U-turn. I'm just doing this to save time. But obviously in real life this wouldn't work. Also, you should stay on the road as much as possible, because if you drive off-road, you could actually get stuck, maybe even sink in the mud. And then you'd end up having to be towed. I know someone that once happened to. Okay, I know from my last attempt that this is a very narrow entrance, so I need to make this turn really, really wide, especially since I'm carrying double trailers. So I'm going to very carefully and slowly turn, using as much space as I physically can. Oh no, is it the grocery store again? Well, I hope they make me drive forward into the space, because like I said earlier, you should never back up with double trailers. Okay, where's the drop-off area? Huh? Don't tell me they expect me to back into that space, because that's crazy. Like, if an actual customer told me to back into a parking space to make a delivery, I tell them that's completely ridiculous. I cannot back up with double trailers. And if they insisted, I'd still be very firm about that, because it's really not a good idea to back up with these things, as I've demonstrated earlier. I mean, I'll try because this is a game and all, but in real life, if my real reputation was at stake as a driver, I would never try to back up with double trailers. I would flat out refuse to do that. But let's at least see if it's possible in the game. Okay, I need to turn the trailer towards the driver's side, to the left-hand side of the truck. That means I have to turn the converter dolly to the right and the front trailer to the left as well. That doesn't sound as good to work. So left, right. That means I have to turn the truck towards my right. Okay, it's getting... no. No, it's not working really well. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Okay, so, no, that's not going to work. Okay, let's try to straighten it and try again. Let's get as straight as I can with this tiny parking space. Ugh, I hate grocery stores. If I ever drive a truck again, I will make sure I work for a company that does not make deliveries to grocery stores. I hate trying to back up in this small area with all these cars around. And people. I prefer cars and people to be away from me when I back up. Okay, I might end up having to cancel this load because I cannot back up with these trailers, despite my efforts. Yeah, I'm gonna have to refuse this delivery because I cannot back these double trailers up to save my life. Yeah, I probably lost a lot of money in that. In fact, I think in real life the company would fire you if you refuse to make a delivery. Well, that didn't work out too well. Hopefully the next job will be better. And hopefully it won't be double trailers.